Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game
together. Yeah.
Alright, so we are in the process of apparently setting up for what feels very much like the end game.
Yes.
Of going, you are here to get equipped for heading into battle by all of your good friendaloos.
Mm-hmm.
And we assume it will be a battle and not a chill thing.
Yep.
And we are going to ask each of them for advice rather than just sort of like communicate with them and express our concerns and experiences or just share with them what's actually going on.
Right.
So what we're going to have to do is share with them what's going on and then ask their advice. So we are prepared to do that, my friend.
All right, so.
Looks like she's happily tinkering with some old 1980X arcade circuit board. Older than the oldest. Oh,
Right.
Hey, Naomi?
Hey, Lice. Good to see you.
I remember when I first met her. She'd jump in surprise if I approached her like this. Seems those days are over. Now I'm greeted with a warm smile. You mean you are friends? Oh, listen, I'm heading out to talk to Sue soon. So I just wanted to talk a bit before I go.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do great. In all the time I've known you, you've been terrific with people. Better than I've ever been, at least. If anybody can sway her to our side, it's you. I mean, look at all this.
She gestures, arms wide, to her surroundings. What, your new workshop, which we modeled to look exactly like your old workshop?
No, I mean Thundervention itself.
We did make it look just like your old workshop, though, didn't we?
Look at everything you've built. And how do you do it? By talking to people, helping them understand your dream.
By trying to understand their dreams, actually.
You get what I mean, right? By being who you are, you can make miracles happen.
They're just drilling this in again and again, going, the way you are, whoever that is in this game. I feel like the game's trying to make you feel safe. Going, no matter who you are, whoever you have chosen to be, you are going to have a good outcome because you inherently are a good, persuasive, healthy person.
Right.
Which feels weird that the game is going, it doesn't matter what personality traits you've developed or who you've become over the course of this game. What you are at your core is a skilled orator that is deeply persuasive and good at public speaking.
Which is wild because only within the context of this game, and there really don't seem to be any bad options, which is not necessarily a bad thing to do, because sometimes you just want a comfort game, man, where you are successful.
It is nice to be safe.
You sound great, but then you fucking threw at me game near the very goddamn end that we were a slob and that we're basically an abusive partner to our roommate.
That we are mistreating and misusing our roommate and
So-
never noticing her experience at all.
So I
right.
gotta tell you, I'm having some big disbelief.
Some trust issues.
Yes.
I'm just me, an ordinary person with a big heart. Do we have calling ourselves with a big heart?
Whoa.
Let me tell you, you can't give me a compliment, but then I'll humble brag. That sounds a little weird.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. All I do is speak honestly. It seems to work. I'm pretty awesome, aren't I? Yes. Soon I will unseat Deco as master of the arcade world. I don't even. I guess it's the all I do is speak honestly. Seems to work. Like, that really is where we end up a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's a level of we don't really take credit for our own work. And so saying, oh, I just have a big heart doesn't sound as much like us. And we don't really joke with her that much.
You know what disappoints me about this? It seems almost like I appreciate, like, you have kind of the opportunity of going, well, what if I want to try a different approach? What if I want to do something else? So, like, if you saved beforehand with this and you wanted to just go see what one extreme option gets you,
Right.
and another extreme option gets you, and another one, etc., etc., I'm having a problem with this because it's like you could be actually having these conversations with them in the previous parts of the game where you felt like you had more character going on, rather than going, here's now your opportunity to talk to characters where you can't date them anymore.
Oh, and that's the weird thing, too.
Slash
is
get to know them as really good friends.
And again, after that bit at the beach, now, Iris did tell us, this is it, for some reason. After, if you don't ask them now when I've calculated that everyone would unanimously be favorable to it on this specific night identically, even though they have very different personalities, you will never get to ask or think about it again, but also no one else is asking you.
Nope.
Like, Teo is the only person that ever seemed to actively hit on you, and, which is fine, but also, like, this all seems very, very one-sided. Who are you interested in? What do you want? This is your journey. But if these are supposed to be real people involved in your journey or in Lies' successful journey, you'd think some of them would have more opinions about us. Now, everyone's telling us we're great, but also we get to watch their various friendship meters and interest meters, you know, basically fluctuate with incredible fickleness.
Yes.
And it's kind of a weird, like, counterintuitive experience for me. I think that's overselling me a bit. All I do is speak honestly, and we still discount her compliment, and speak true. I'm clear about how I feel, and that seems to get the job done. The question is whether or not a steady hand will be enough to convince Sue. I'm not a miracle worker.
You don't have to be a miracle worker to be a solid worker. Someone who makes things happen.
It's true.
Don't be so humble that you downplay your own accomplishments, Lies. I know what it's like to cut yourself down a peg. Scared of being too proud.
Do you?
It's easy to fall into that trap. So when I say that you're a great person, take the compliment.
Has that been a piece of her character that we missed? That she's afraid of being too...
Okay, so I have to tell you. Again, if you were not sure what everyone was going to be acting like or who to go for, and if you weren't immediately sold on the fact of going, you look hot, so therefore I'll go after you, you, overall, you don't really learn much about these characters.
That's what I was going to say. We've learned very little about them. And again, there's been very little, indication in the long hops, that convention where you time skip, that's the writing convention for it, that has actually told us what we've developed with them. It's just, I've spent time with them.
Yay!
And you could have added in so many specifics, that would have helped us understand that this experience that we chose continued to build more of similar experiences like it. And that would have been one really simple way to do it, where if someone spent time with, say, Gavin, you could be like, we've spent time with these people, and Gavin and I have continued to fill in the blank.
Right.
That kind of thing. And I feel like the game's been a little lacking in that area, especially in reference to building complex friendships, which, as far as my experience with knowing a lot of people who date, it takes more energy oftentimes to build a friendship and more work than to just try dating. I'll just try dating you because I think you're hot doesn't mean you're automatically close. It just means you're starting a thing, and then, you're on board in a social contract.
Yeah, and again, that conflux of, inflation, basically, of romance equals sex. Conflation, thank you.
Yeah.
Is really frustrating. Even though, again, my friend actually pointed this out, I'm still annoyed by it, going, you really gave us the arrow ace representation, which is awesome.
Super cool.
But you didn't just go, I'm asexual, or I'm a romantic.
Right, those do not have to companion each other at all. They're completely separate orientations. I'll talk about my orientation occasionally of being demisexual and pan, which I've had people argue with me that that's impossible, but I'm like, one's an orientation and the other one is a mode of attraction. And it's like, demisexual doesn't indicate who or what you're attracted to at all.
Yeah.
And so some people are like, no, but that contradicts any other kind of sexuality. I'm like, no, that's a modality of attraction. And so anyway, and then just, I feel like splitting those up, I love that there's representation, so I don't want to knock it at all, and it feels hard to even put a thoughtful criticism into it, except that those are separate things. One is specifically about romance, and the other specifically about sex.
Yeah,
and
the
those
thing is,
are distinctly separate things.
That Iris pushes romance, and if you're not interested in romance, that's really weird, but what if you want to bone one of these people?
Right? What if you still want sex and friendship?
To bone.
You really can. There are plenty of people that get together going, I'm going to date them, but it's not really specifically romantic.
This is about friends with benefits. It's fine, whatever.
Anyway, okay, then. So, how do you think I should approach Sue? Do you know that Sue is Dekonami's daughter?
I don't know.
And also, you know that we've decided to approach Sue, but do you know what happened at all or how our information gathering went? I don't feel like you've had the same information we have since Juniper just ran in and told us. All right.
Well, if it was me, I'm not happy with how they ruined our opening day. Honestly, I'm downright miffed about it. I'd probably go at him like a fireball, because I am downright fierce.
I like the word miffed. I rarely hear it used.
Miffed is so nice.
It's good.
But I know that probably wouldn't work. Taking the high road is the better path, except that sometimes it's really not, and it's actually a problem that people have in regards to politics a lot. Oh yeah, just take the high road. Consistently, where there is no respect shown, and people do not think anything of you, and it literally makes no difference.
And so the thing is
nice.
There is this, basically... moral experience, this idea that taking the high road is better, is more laudable, more appropriate. And it isn't always. And the thing is it actually even ties into the Black Lives Matter movement of going, if people are shooting at you, being diplomatic is not the way to go. That is not the high road. It's just tonal dissonance. You are coming from somewhere else.
Yes.
So I appreciate where she's coming from, and that for her, what it suggests is that for her, being angry is a vice that she particularly sees in herself, and that she labels as a personal vice, not as a universal truth.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon.
Well, yeah. Woo! You've got a steep hill to climb here, making her flip on not only a partner in crime, but on her family. So you're going to have to try to understand her heart. She kept saying she likes her arcade. Play into that. Be kind, understanding, empathetic.
I like that one. Okay, I'll consider playing nice. Not sure about that. Honestly, we absolutely have considered playing nice the whole time.
Yeah, like
we really deeply have. Challenging her ego and insulting her is definitely not going to work. I don't know if it's definitely not going to work, but it's definitely not what we plan to do. There's a level of the specificity of language here that keeps throwing me off a little bit. Instead of going, yeah, you're right, I don't really want to do that, we go, that won't work.
Yeah.
You know, but it does, I guess, fall into the decisiveness of who Lies is as this character. Playing nice makes sense. You're right. I'll consider it.
Believe me, I kind of want to kick her teeth in. But I know that's wrong. Even if we're never friends, we have to at least try to understand her.
Honestly, I am curious about your fierce, ferocious streak now that we haven't known you hardly at all and this is coming out.
So again, I like that thing though also pointing out here going, at least try to understand. Understanding does not equal excusing. Which I feel like, unfortunately, we've kind of engaged in as going like, I understand you, but I'm kind of excusing you because otherwise I'd be calling the cops.
Right.
Or I'd be throwing your ass out of here and you'd never come back. No, you can't stop us. No, seriously.
I can.
I would.
On the other hand, I also understand that. So, coming from a poor background, that's something that you kind of do with people sometimes. Like, when they're doing minor law breaking. Now, in the case of destroying your game, that's pretty expensive destruction of property.
Yes.
But when we're talking about someone just being a nuisance and basically being a problematic patron, there's a lot of, like, poor person solidarity that I'm familiar with, that I grew up around. And doesn't mean it's everywhere. It could have been the part of the America that I grew up in, you know? Going like, dude, if you're being an asshole because you're tired, exhausted, lacking on resources, alone, hurt because of whatever reason you've got going on at home, dude, just could you not?
Yeah.
Okay? And that thing of, it's described as leveling with people, but just meeting someone on their level and going, I understand that you have got hard times going on. You can't do this. And, like, there are so many times when people will be like, dude, I've just not had anyone basically engage with my struggle. And the fact that you didn't attack me means I will be a defender for you.
Yeah.
And, like, it is a real genuine strategy. And the thing is there's a lot of times when people could have called the cops on a lot of people that I knew or met or was around. Yeah. And they didn't, because there's that sort of poverty solidarity of going, I'm just going to engage with you about your behavior rather than just go, we need corrective action. Well, and basically it's kind of support.
Right. Well, and also there's that thing too, anyway, that my friend is I think leaning towards as well, is just the fact that, honestly, once you get the cops on your ass, you're basically kind of fucked. Because of how the American justice system works, this sort of shit basically just haunts you.
There's a lot of...
cannot...
protecting young people too, not necessarily to the exclusion of things of going, oh, but they've got a good career and they're a nice solid white boy, but to the experience of going, you don't need petty theft on your record while you're still in high school. Just put it down and don't do it again. Yeah. You know?
I'd better get back to work. These replacement ROMs aren't gonna suck at themselves.
Even if the arcade ends up closing down?
I'm deciding to be optimistic. You can do it, Lies. Best of luck.
Also...
Hey,
And just as far as, like, legal stuff is concerned, like, I have seen a lot of, I will defend you before and help you and basically use community support intervention before cops are involved. But once the cops are involved, it's like, you got caught, you did it, you are sunk, boy. Like, there's a lot of mentality that I'm familiar with where people go, once you've been caught, you deal with the comeuppance. Yeah. You know, there's not a, well, they should have a lesser sentence or whatever. So that's the culture I grew up in.
Mind if I ask your opinion on something?
Whether or not you should go out with us. Oh, sure, what's up?
What do you think of Gavin?
I think he's still got a lot to learn.
Like, I mean, I know he's a money-grubbing, prize game-loving stick in the mud, but... Well, ever since Fun Intervention and all of us working together, I don't know. Maybe he's softened up a bit.
She's blushing.
I think you're a good influence on him. Why are you blushing?
So, are you trying to tell us we should be interested in him? Are you trying to set us up with Gavin?
Are you
interested in Gavin? And this is the whole we've been quarreling and fighting because we actually could like each other kind of trope?
Do you think he'd be the kind of person to put old arguments aside and, like, No. We gotta stay focused. We need to save the arcade. Forget I brought it up.
You're talking about yourself being interested in him and your old arguments. She's talking about, do you think I should hit on Gavin? I don't think you guys have priorities in line that would make you happy at all. Especially the way you do business really differently.
Like, whoa.
Like, in the way that you approach things really from a heart and passion and enthusiasm kind of way, and he really does approach them from the booklet, and is swayed by heart, doesn't ever seem to come from it organically.
Yes, but also at the same time, too, so I'm gonna tell you, like, that's just weird.
That feels out of the blue. That feels wild.
So another reason why this feels strange is, you guys, we barely know these characters.
That also feels like very, like, okay, this feels very, like, volunteered information. Like, we were talking to the little girl as Juniper.
And she goes, do you know what the name is? And you're like, why the hell would you say that? That's so unnatural sounding.
That feels really random. Yes, this also felt really random. Like, were you just in your workshop thinking about Gavin? We interrupted you. And then you're like, oh, by the way, never mind. We should stay focused. And going, are we friends or not? Talk to me about a friend thing.
Right?
You know? Like, that sort of thing. Also, again, do you have any idea what we've learned? And she did say specifically, like, what we talked,
on
turn on her family.
Yep.
She should be going, what family? Unless somehow she learned this information.
We clearly skipped that in terms of the story. So.
Okay. After offering a brief hug of support, Naomi returns to her work. Who else do I want to talk to before I leave? I told you, everyone. You wouldn't talk to anyone when concerning their experience with selling or not selling the Funplex. You should make up for that and actually include them in this one.
Yeah, you actually should.
Like, really, this should be like essentially like trying to make up for leaving absolutely everyone out from a massive company decision back then, and even the experience that was happening, and include them in this one in your company. I found Gavin looming over a large arcade floor.
Looming large,
thank you, over the arcade floor, behind the ticket desk. Seems he was expecting me. Why is he behind the ticket desk if we're closed? So, complications have developed complications?
Genuinely, I don't know, but I don't know what time it's supposed to be. They
Also,
just said at night.
I don't know if we're open or not.
Close.
I have no idea what our hours are. So does this mean we just briefed him on everything? And now he's responding to it?
I guess.
I think that's what that was. Seems to be the case. I think they're implying that we just told him everything.
Yes.
And you'd like my advice on the matter? Seems to be the case. Be clear with Sue. Be honest. And be ready to raise whatever challenge rise to whatever challenge she poses to you.
Perhaps.
Honestly, the way you settled that ticket problem does not suggest that you would suggest that at all.
Nope.
You would suggest outsmarting her and outmaneuvering her based on the one thing we know a lot about you.
Or also this idea of going, well, if it's not actually causing a large problem, like some pain is acceptable.
Just leave it there.
Yeah. Like, I don't...
Either that or we'll just see how much drama she's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you let her make the first move, you can counter-move through improvisation. If I know you're talented at it, use that talent to let her set up her own traps and step in them. Are we talking about playing an actual video game against her?
I was going to say, now we're talking about manipulation, which seems more like his alley.
It does. Treat her with respect, but in the end, she's just a kid. You can outthink a teenager. I'd like to believe. Honestly, that sounds more like him.
It does.
More like what we've seen.
Seriously.
Whoa, that was a new line.
It was. If you take the situation seriously and approach with a clear mind, I've no doubt you'll win the day. Agreed? I can keep a cool head and let her make the first move. Not sure about that. I'll consider other options. I mean, we would totally agree with him that we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course we can do that. Sounds about right. Go in ready to form a strategy based on the conditions on the ground. Then play out that strategy with a calm hand. Yeah. Precisely the way I'd handle it. So we guess. You know, when you first came to the Funplex, I had serious doubts about you. I could tell.
Yes.
I'd assumed you'd just fill a seat and do the low-level labor while I focused on higher-order management tasks.
Which is called keeping things afloat.
Yeah. So I've largely kept my distance, or tried to, at least, out of professional respect, but I can't help but have come to know you over the time we've spent together. You're not a minimum wage trainee any longer. You've taken opportunity and run with it, developing not only the Funplex, but a whole new arcade as well. You're just expositing to us why. I know we're facing a difficult challenge, but I'm not going to blindly assume everything will just be fine either. Are you going to ask us out? Oh.
Right?
But I know that if this is possible, we can stave off bankruptcy.
If we can.
Oh, if we can stave off bankruptcy, you will be capable of doing it. Nobody else is equipped, only you, Liz. Literally, because we are not actually active players in this game.
Right? Oh boy.
Alright, thank you, Gavin. Your respect means a lot to me, and if not, I can always sell my vital organs. You were doing a terrific job before I came along, too. We'll beat this problem, and everything comes after it. I feel like we try and do fighting spirit with him, honestly. Like, more than anything, like, without thinking about me, the player, trying to build certain characteristics, I really feel like we'd just be like, yeah, we'll beat this problem, and everyone that comes after it, just try and encourage him.
Do it!
Nah, I'm not going down swinging. I'm winning this fight, and the fight after, and the fight after, and all the fights to come. You've got my word on that.
Well, you know what? He can have our word, but we are out of time! Hey! So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. We got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!